Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're diving into some intense family drama and holiday surprises unfolding on General Hospital. So, let's jump right in. Christina versus Molly, a family rift. First off, Molly Lansing Davis and Alexis Davis are at odds, and it's going to get a lot messier. In a recent confrontation, Molly had to deliver a hard-hitting warning to her mother, Alexis. Alexis, always quick to defend her children, was furious over Christina's harsh words at the courthouse. Christina had openly criticized Molly's stance on the baby's loss, accusing her of focusing on moving forward because she wasn't truly Adela's mother. This bitter comment struck a nerve with Alexis, but Molly, ever the peacekeeper, advised Alexis to let it slide if she wanted to maintain a relationship with Christina. However, this isn't as easy as it sounds. Molly's own belief that the tragedy was just an unfortunate accident has created a deep divide between her and Christina. Christina is convinced that something more sinister happened, and her refusal to accept the loss as anything but an injustice continues to create tension in the family. The future of these relationships is uncertain, with the emotional weight of the past hanging over them. Sonny's promise to Christina, Ava's fate. Now, let's move on to Christina's ongoing frustrations with Ava Jerome's freedom. Christina is beyond outraged that Ava has walked away from the justice system without facing any serious consequences for her actions. Desperate for some form of justice, Christina approaches her father, Sonny Corinthos, for help. Sonny, ever the protector of his children, reassures Christina that he won't fail her if the justice system does. This promise is huge because it signals that Sonny is willing to go to great lengths to ensure that Ava pays for what she has done. The fact that Sonny is already making plans to take action against Ava sets the stage for an intense showdown ahead. Whether through legal means or his own brand of justice, it's clear that Ava is about to find herself in deep trouble. For Christina, this could finally be the moment where her anger and frustration with Ava's manipulations come to a head. The growing threat to Ava Jerome. Speaking of Ava, the tides are about to turn for her in a way she won't expect. We've seen her manage to wriggle out of difficult situations before, but the walls are closing in. With Sonny extending an offer to Christina to make Ava pay, it's only a matter of time before things unravel for her. The upcoming spoilers suggest that trouble is brewing for Ava, and it's not looking good. Will Sonny take matters into his own hands? Or will Ava's connections and cunning help her slip away once more? Whatever the outcome, we can be sure that the drama surrounding Ava's fate will be a hot topic in the weeks to come. Molly's tensions with Alexis, a family in crisis. Turning back to the Lansing Davis family, the conflict between Alexis and Molly continues to intensify. Alexis was deeply offended by Christina's remarks at the courthouse, but Molly doesn't exactly agree with her. Molly's view on the baby's death, calling it an accident, is seen as a betrayal by Christina, who refuses to accept that explanation. It's clear that Molly's path of healing doesn't align with Christina's desire for vengeance, and this divide could lead to a permanent rupture between the sisters. While Alexis wants to hold on to her relationship with both daughters, the reality is that Molly's insistence on moving forward and Christina's refusal to forgive or forget will only drive them further apart. As tensions rise, this conflict could be the tipping point for the Davis family's future. Dex and Cyrus, the tension escalates. Dex Heller's holiday cheer might be short-lived, as he finds himself in a dangerous encounter with Cyrus Renaud. In Monday's preview video, we hear Cyrus ominously say, "I was not there to see Lulu on Halloween," making it clear that Dex is once again on Cyrus's radar. This could spell trouble for Dex, especially given his growing involvement with the police and his tendency to get entangled in the wrong situations. Cyrus has a lot to lose if the truth about his actions on Halloween comes to light. Many fans believe that Cyrus was behind Sam McCall's overdose, a dark secret that he would go to any lengths to keep hidden. The fact that Dex is now in the picture could complicate things for Cyrus, as Dex's investigations could lead him to uncovering details that Cyrus desperately wants to stay buried. The holiday spirit, Elizabeth and Lucky's heartwarming reunion. Lastly, we're treated to a sweet and somewhat surprising moment as Elizabeth Baldwin and Lucky Spencer embrace the Christmas spirit. The couple, who have had their share of ups and downs, are getting into the festive mood with a tree hunt and some decorating plans. It's clear that Lucky is enjoying the shift in Elizabeth's attitude when he jokingly asks, "Who are you and what have you done with Elizabeth?" The playful exchange shows just how far they've come since their more turbulent times. This light-hearted moment will provide a much-needed break from the drama, offering viewers a glimpse of happiness and nostalgia. While Elizabeth and Lucky may have been through difficult times, their bond is undeniable, and the holiday season might just be the perfect time for them to reconnect and share some adorable, intimate moments. So there you have it. The Davis family is torn apart, Ava's time in the spotlight might be coming to an end, and Dex finds himself in a perilous situation with Cyrus. Meanwhile, Elizabeth and Lucky share some tender moments that remind us all of the importance of family and love, even in the most chaotic of times. Stay tuned for all the shocking updates ahead on General Hospital. The courtroom drama, Molly and TJ's emotional encounter. The tension starts to rise as Molly and Alexis head to court, where the fate of Ava Jerome is about to be determined. As they walk through the courthouse halls, Molly unexpectedly runs into TJ. Their interaction is brief but emotionally charged. Molly thanks TJ again for returning her journal, a symbolic gesture that holds a lot of weight. She admits that she's been rereading it, reflecting on the dreams and places they once envisioned exploring together. TJ, with a tinge of sadness in his voice, apologizes for not being able to fulfill those dreams. It's a poignant moment, as both of them realize how much their future plans have been overshadowed by recent events. There's a sense of regret hanging in the air, as their past hopes now feel distant and unreachable. This interaction sets the tone for the courtroom drama that follows, highlighting the emotional complexity of their relationship. The verdict, Ava's freedom and Christina's breakdown. In the courtroom, the atmosphere is thick with anticipation. Christina, her father Sonny, and her mother Alexis wait for the jury to return with their verdict. Christina, though visibly distressed, turns to her father with gratitude. She thanks him for being there for her, and Sonny reassures her that he will always stand by her, no matter the circumstances. This brief exchange shows the depth of their bond, with Sonny's unwavering support providing a semblance of comfort amid the turmoil. Then, Ava and Rick arrive, their presence adding a further layer of tension to the already volatile situation. Alexis, trying to keep her family together, pulls her daughters aside, urging them to hold on to each other despite everything they've lost. She reminds them that they can't afford to lose one another as well. The emotional weight of her words lingers, and, for a brief moment, the sisters agree to set aside their differences. As court is called into session, the jury's verdict is delivered. Ava stands, bracing herself for the outcome. When the verdict is read, the courtroom falls silent. The jury has found Ava not guilty, and Christina's world shatters. She enters a fugue state, her mind seemingly unable to process the crushing defeat. This moment is a devastating blow, not just for Christina, but for everyone who had hoped for justice to prevail. The aftermath, TJ's outburst and Molly's chase. In the wake of the verdict, TJ's reaction is intense. He runs out of the courtroom, unable to contain his emotions. Molly, feeling the weight of the moment, chases after him, wanting to understand his feelings and offer comfort. But things take a sharp turn when TJ confronts Molly in the hallway. He asks her how she feels about the outcome, and Molly, in an effort to ease the tension, expresses that she believes it was all a tragic accident. However, TJ doesn't seem satisfied with this answer. He presses her further, asking what she feels, not what she thinks. TJ's frustration is palpable, and he accuses Molly of getting what she wanted, an easy resolution where no one is to blame. His words sting, and it becomes clear that TJ is struggling with his own feelings about the verdict and what it means for their relationship. Before Molly can respond, he storms off, leaving her behind to grapple with the growing rift between them. At this moment, Christina appears in the hallway, visibly distraught. She asks Molly what TJ meant by his words and what Molly's true feelings are about the verdict. This confrontation is the tipping point for a long-needed heart-to-heart between the two sisters. Molly, in an attempt to explain herself, reiterates her belief that the whole situation was a terrible accident. She insists that neither she nor Ava are to blame for what happened. A bitter confrontation, Christina's anger and Molly's plea for peace. Christina, still reeling from the events, accuses Molly of siding with Ava, accusing her of believing Ava's version of the story over her own sister's account. Molly, however, remains steadfast in her position. She gently counters Christina's accusations, acknowledging that Christina believes Ava pushed her, but Molly cannot accept that. She argues that no one could have predicted what happened, and that ultimately, no one is at fault. She apologizes for blaming Christina in the past, particularly for the harsh words she spoke at Irene's grave. Despite her apology, Christina's pain is too deep to ignore. She cannot let go of the belief that someone must be held accountable. As Molly tries to move forward, Christina sobs, declaring that there is no moving on. The raw emotion in her voice is heartbreaking, as she mourns not just the loss of her child, but the rift that is formed between her and her sister. Molly, overwhelmed by the weight of her grief, pleads with Christina to let go of the anger. She sobs that she cannot continue living with this bitterness. She has already lost so much: the baby, the relationship with her sister, and the innocence she once held. Molly desperately needs this chapter to be closed. She wants peace, and she's willing to fight for it. But Christina, with a heartbreaking clarity, accuses Molly of being afraid to fight for their daughter. She believes Molly is avoiding the fight for justice because she wants peace more than she wants answers. Molly, exhausted by the emotional turmoil, admits that she has fought long enough. She is tired, and she just wants peace. But Christina, still drowning in her grief, knows exactly what her sister wants. She wants the pain to end. She wants to find a way to move on, but Christina can't. She's not ready to forgive, not ready to let go of the anger that consumes her. The struggle for peace, a family torn apart. This heartbreaking confrontation between the sisters reveals the deep emotional divide that has formed between them. It's clear that Molly's desire to move on and heal is in direct conflict with Christina's need for justice and closure. While Molly just wants to let go of the anger and rebuild, Christina is trapped in her grief, unable to release her desire for vengeance and accountability. The real tragedy here is not just the loss of a child, but the loss of the connection between these two sisters. Their bond, once so strong, has now been torn apart by conflicting emotions and differing perspectives on what truly happened. This heartbreaking moment forces both women to confront not just their grief, but the complex dynamics of family and forgiveness. The question remains, can they find a way back to each other, or is this the end of their relationship as they know it? So, there you have it. The courtroom drama has reached a boiling point, and the emotional fallout is far from over. Stay tuned to see how these events will unfold in the coming weeks. Will Molly and Christina find common ground? There's a lot of personal conflict, tough decisions, and heart-wrenching interactions that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Let's break it down and analyze what's happening with Liz, Lucas, Brad, Portia, and the rest of the gang. Liz and Lucas, a family in transition. The hospital scene starts with Liz filling Lucas in on some surprising news: Lulu is awake and back in Port Charles. This marks a significant moment for both Lucas and Liz as they reflect on the changes in their lives. Lucas, who has been grappling with the ups and downs of his own family's emotional turmoil, asks about Lucky. Liz reveals that Lucky is sticking around, not only because of Lulu's condition but also because of the investigation into Sam's death. This new layer of complexity in their lives shows how the connections between these characters are deepening, with Lucky's involvement being a source of both support and potential conflict. While the reunion with Lulu should be a cause for celebration, the unresolved issues surrounding Sam's death add a darker tone to the situation. Liz's role in this family drama is significant, as she becomes the grounding force between Lucky and the complicated matters involving Sam. Her ability to juggle these tensions highlights her strength, but also hints at the personal sacrifices she is making to keep her family together. Portia and Lucas, a moment of tension. Soon after, Portia interrupts their conversation, pulling Lucas away to talk privately in her office. The shift from family matters to professional concerns is striking, and it seems that Portia is becoming more involved in the hospital's political and social dynamics. Her presence adds another layer of tension as she and Lucas talk shop, but there's something personal simmering beneath the surface. Portia's character has been evolving over time, and it's clear she's balancing her professional responsibilities with her personal feelings. In this moment, she serves as a reminder that not all the drama at the hospital is just about patient care, it's also about the complicated relationships that grow between co-workers, friends, and family. Brad's struggle, redemption, or regret? Back in the break room, Brad is venting to Stella about his complicated feelings regarding his daily interactions with Lucas. He admits he feels as though seeing Lucas every day is a form of punishment he might deserve. This honest moment from Brad reveals his internal struggle. Is he simply torturing himself, or is he on the path to redemption? Brad, as we know, has a history that is far from perfect. His journey has been rocky, filled with mistakes and regrets, but this conversation with Stella shows he is genuinely wrestling with the idea of becoming a better person. Stella, always the voice of wisdom, reassures Brad that he is not alone in his feelings. She reminds him that redemption is a journey and that being human means making mistakes, but also having the chance to learn and grow from them. Her words are a turning point for Brad. While he still carries the weight of his past actions, Stella's guidance helps him see that there is hope, as long as he can reflect on his mistakes and show genuine remorse. She encourages him to focus on being a better person for himself, not just for Lucas. Brad's desire to reconnect with Lucas. Later, when Lucas returns to share some exciting news with Liz, Brad overhears and finds out that Lucas has been selected as one of 5 doctors to represent the hospital at a prestigious conference. Liz congratulates him, clearly proud of his accomplishments. But for Brad, this news stirs up complicated emotions. His desire to reconnect with Lucas is palpable, but it's clear that he's still trying to figure out the best way to go about it. Brad's next move is to look up the details of the conference and immediately start scheming to find a way to get himself invited. He delivers test results to Portia and then attempts to convince her to let him attend a symposium on innovations in lab techniques at the conference in Miami. Portia, however, is quick to shut him down. She tells Brad that the conference is for doctors, and the hospital is only allotted a certain number of slots. Brad, undeterred, offers to pay his own way to attend, but Portia sees through his motives. She knows this isn't about professional growth for Brad, it's about trying to get closer to Lucas, and she isn't buying it. Portia's firm stance, a lesson in professionalism. This scene reveals a lot about Portia's character, as she firmly stands her ground. She refuses Brad's request and sends him back to work, clearly frustrated with his antics. However, Stella, ever the voice of reason, later pulls Portia aside and tells her she made a big mistake. Stella believes that Brad has done the work to redeem himself and should be given a chance to prove he's a better man and employee. Portia, however, remains unconvinced. She doesn't understand why Stella is sticking up for Brad, but Stella's perspective is grounded in the idea that true professionalism requires impartiality. Portia's personal dislike of Brad is evident, but Stella reminds her that, as a manager, she needs to maintain fairness and objectivity when it comes to her staff. This subtle lesson in professionalism highlights the challenges Portia faces as she tries to navigate her personal feelings while maintaining her role as a leader. Brad's dilemma, redemption versus temptation. Back in the lab, Brad reflects on his actions. He stares at Portia's falsified report about Heather, clearly torn. Part of him wants to use this information as leverage to get what he wants, namely, a chance to attend the conference in Miami. But another part of him knows that blackmail is not the path to redemption. He almost shreds the document, symbolizing his internal battle between doing what's right and succumbing to temptation. Ultimately, Brad decides not to use the falsified report for personal gain, a small victory in his journey toward redemption. However, the temptation is not entirely gone. Later, Brad looks up the weather forecast for Miami in February and dreams of the sunny beach weather as he imagines spending time with Lucas. This daydream is a fleeting escape from his reality, but it also shows how deep his feelings for Lucas still run. Brad is still struggling with his past, his desires, and his guilt, but this moment highlights his yearning for a second chance. So, what do you think? Brad's journey toward redemption is far from over, and the complexities of his relationship with Lucas continue to shape his every decision. Meanwhile, Portia's struggle with professionalism and her personal biases adds an interesting layer to the hospital drama. Stay tuned to General Hospital for more twists, turns, and emotional moments as these characters navigate their tangled lives.